From Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles, California, CBS Radio Sports presents the 1978 World Series on the CBS Radio Network and around the world through the American Forces Radio.
Steve, when you came to New York, you were 2-0. The team seemed confident. You had the rhythm. What happened?
Well, we're coming into the home stretch now, and the horse caught us and passed us a little bit. We're just going to have to put on a good stretch run, I think. It's a situation they played exceptionally well here. They were very comfortable. They just came out and were aggressive and beat us 3 straight.
Are they that much tougher in New York?
Sure seems that way. They must be. I don't know what their home record was this year, but they played very well here.
How does a team regroup after a tough night like tonight? I mean, a total disaster from your point of view.
Well, you hope for an off day, which we do have tomorrow, and then try to just relax and maybe we'll have a little meeting, talk about it. Let's do this, let's do that. And Tuesday night we'll be playing at home, and that's quite an incentive for us.
What about the difference in infields? I mean, you seem to have a little bit of a tough time. Some of the infielders out here tonight. Is there a difference in the infields?
Oh, yeah, ours is a crushed brick. It's a very hard infield, very flat infield. This infield is more of a dirt type. It slopes off from the middle of the base pass back, but there are no excuses. A lot of other teams feel well here.
Do you see a turning point? Was it Nettles making those plays? Was it the questionable interference with Jackson yesterday?
Well, I think it may have been yesterday's play, yeah, with Jackson, because eventually that turned out to be a situation where without the run on that play, we would have won 3-2 through 9 innings. So that may have been a turning point.
You're a class gentleman after a loss. Thank you. John.
And now the World Series goes back to Disneyland, hard by the freeways. And you know why it's going back? Well, you can name all the heroes you want, all the situations you want, and all the controversy you want. But it's going back because of Friday night. Ron Guidry and his reputation, and not necessarily in that order, is sending the World Series back to Los Angeles. The truth of the matter is that the Dodgers admit themselves they psyched themselves out. They read the scouting reports, they heard from each other, and they read the newspapers, and they believed. But the Ron Guidry they saw Friday night, you know and I know, is not the Ron Guidry that's been doing it all year. He pitched on guts, and he pitched on Greg Nettles. But the Dodgers try to tailor their game to him. They try to change. Lacey, the designated hitter, admits himself that he was psyched out. In fact, he says we were all psyched out. You really should go with what got you here, and we try to compensate against him. Well, that's a big factor, because the truth is there's no reason for this thing to go back, or there would have been no reason had it worked out that way on Friday night for the Dodgers.
A 12-2 rout by the Yankees, who have suddenly skyrocketed to a lead of 3-2, with Game 6 tomorrow night in Los Angeles. Game 7, if necessary, would be Wednesday on the coast. Yesterday, 3 Dodger pitchers gave up 18 hits, 16 of them singles, 3 Dodger errors, 1 wild pitch, 2 passed balls, contributing to the disaster. But as has been their pattern all year long, the Yankees bouncing back from a 2-0 deficit. In the top of the first, Reggie Smith singles to right. Davey Lopes, the captain, scored. Davey with some choice words about the fans here. He said, quote, they should drop a bomb on this place, meaning Yankee Stadium. Then in the third, Bill Russell, who said, quote, you've got to be half crazy to live in this town, doubled to left. Lopes scored all the way from first, but the Yanks began their barrage in the bottom of the third. They scored 4 runs, a base hit by Roy White. Mr. Clutch sends Bucky Dent to the plate off starter and loser Bert Hooton. Happy Bert. Then what turned out to be the winning hit, Thurman Munson, who had 3 hits and 5 RBIs, loops it to right, allowing Mickey Rivers to score, and then White makes it home after a wild throw by Reggie Smith. 3-2 Yanks, a lead they never relinquished. Then Lou Piniella, who was the hero in Game 4, produced yet another single, scoring Thurman Munson with the 4th run. In the 4th, Dent hit a sharp drive to Russell. Could have been a double play, but Russell had his problems, paving the way for a 3-run rally. Then on White's ground ball to first, right here, Steve Garvey makes a nice stab, but his throw to the plate is another story, and the scoring parade continued. And 6'6" rookie Jim Beattie, again looking impressive. He struck out the dangerous Steve Garvey 3 times and pitched his first complete game ever in the major league, scattering 9 hits and striking out 8 all told. That's the final play. Tomorrow night, it should be a pair of righties, Catfish Hunter against Don Sutton.
from Dodger Stadium, Game 6 of the 1978 World Series. The American League champions, the New York Yankees, versus the National League champions, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Brought to you by Light Beer, everything you always wanted in a beer and less. And by Dodge and your Dodge dealer, who invites you to come in and see why people are saying, hey, that's my Dodge. And by Etra, for closeness with comfort, it's Gillette's best shave. Play ball! And play ball it is, and they're streaming in here. We're live from Dodger Stadium, Game 6. It'll be Catfish Hunter against Don Sutton. But the Dodger infield has been maligned here in Los Angeles and in New York. Tony Kubek, well, he's got some feelings about that, and I want to hear him, and I know you do too. Tony?
Well, Joe, if you're a former infielder, you take articles like you have been reading about the Dodger infield quite personal. Yes, they have been maligned, and I think unfairly. You do not win a National League's Western Division, a tough division, with a poor defense. You do not beat a solid team like the Philadelphia Phillies for the National League pennant with a lousy defense. They've been in the World Series for 2 consecutive years. You don't do that with a lousy defense. Sure, they have played sloppily at times, but not one of the games that was lost by the Dodgers in Yankee Stadium was due to their infield play. In Game 3, it very simply was Guidry's and a red-hot glove of Greg Nettles. In Game 4, the controversial play. Russell got the air, but it was a perfect throw that would have ended the inning on a double play as Munson scored, but Reggie Jackson's hip, intentional or not, was the thing that won that ball game for the Yankees. Game 5, it was very simple. Jim Beattie won it. Sure, the Dodgers played sloppily again, but also the Yankees had 18 hits and scored a lot of runs. The Dodger infielders may have made the pitchers throw to a few more hitters, but they didn't lose any ball games, and they've been very unfairly treated. Curt Gowdy, however, has more to say about some of the infield play in this World Series by the Dodgers.
It all started in the first inning, a day Bill Russell would like to forget. There's an error charge to him. Yankee runners are going on this pitch, and Yeager can't handle it, and the Yankees execute a double steal. Everything is going wrong for the Dodgers. The Dodger manager, Tom Lasorda, put it very bluntly, we played very, very badly. Here's a throw from right fielder Reggie Smith, soaring over the head of Yeager, up against the backstop. Another drive to Russell, ricochets off Russell out in the left field. Steve Garvey trying to handle his ground ball right under his glove, dribbling out into right field. And Johnny Oates trying to catch a knuckleball. This fielding did not lose the game for the Dodgers, but it certainly wasn't very pretty.
Steve Garvey came into the 1978 World Series with a remarkable RBI streak. In the last 46 games leading to this series, he drove in 44 runs. But the Yankee pitchers have gone right after him, and he has been relatively silent. Curt Gowdy spoke to Steve Garvey just a short time before this ball game to get some of his observations.
It's news when Steve Garvey doesn't knock a run in 5 games, especially, Steve, after that blistering month of September you've had. Has it been you or the Yankee pitching?
Well, Kurt, I hate to make news this way, but it's been a combination of the Yankees throwing me in good locations. They mix the ball up well, and then when I have hit the ball, I've hit it either right at Nettles or right at Piniella or straightaway center. So, again, it's been a combination of their pitching and defense that's kept me from driving in runs. I've been getting a couple hits, but usually, again, Nettles has knocked down 2 plays that could have driven an RBI. So I don't feel very good about it, but I know that I'm going to continue to go up there and keep swinging and not, again, be cautious.
What about Hunter tonight? Anything you're going to change against him that from the first time you batted against him?
Well, nothing at all, Kurt. I think that, again, if you're just patient with Catfish, let him get the ball over the plate. He's going to mix speeds on you, so you don't want to go out and try to attack him and get your weight forward. So I think the key, again, is letting the ball come to you and then hitting it where it's pitched.
That's Steve Garvey. And right now, let's go back upstairs.
Kurt, I don't think there's any question that if the Dodgers are going to get going, Steve Garvey is going to be a big factor in it. The pitchers tonight, well, there's only 9 active Major League pitchers who have won 200 games or more, and we've got 2 of them going here tonight. For the Yankees, Jim Catfish Hunter, he's won 222 games in his Major League career. And for the Dodgers, Don Sutton has won 205 games in his Major League career. If it does go to 7 games tomorrow night, pitchers are going to be Ron Guidry for the Yankees, and that's a question mark, how good he's going to be, and Tommy John for the Dodgers.
Back to L.A. for Game 6, where over 3 million Dodger fans caught baseball fever during the regular season and established a new attendance record. Former Dodger great Duke Snider and these fans honestly felt their home field meant salvation.
Major League Baseball presents Big League Tips.
Here's how to figure an earned run average. First of all, take the total number of earned runs that you've allowed, say 20. You divide that by the number of innings that you've pitched, let's say 80. Now that'll give you a figure, 80 into 20, of .250. Now you take .250, multiply that by 9 to give you a number of runs per 9 inning. This would be 2.25. An ERA of that, you'd be pitching awfully well. Baseball fever. Catch it.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball. And now let's go back to John Ramsey.
Ladies and gentlemen, calling your attention to the Dodger on-deck circle, where all-time Dodger great Duke Snider will throw out the first ball. Duke hit 11 home runs in World Series play, the most by any National League player. He is the only player in the history of the World Series to hit as many as 4 home runs in 2 World Series. Ladies and gentlemen, Duke Snider.
Duke, you played in 6 series. 4 times you're in the position the young Dodgers are in right now. Can they come back?
Well, I think with this reception, Kurt, they're back home. The fans are behind them. I think it's going to be a different ball game. They were in awe of New York City and Yankee Stadium and didn't play their kind of baseball, but they're home, and I know we felt the same way when we got to Ebbets Field while we were a much tougher club.
The Dodgers' all-time great center fielder, Duke Snider, and out to Joe Garagiola.
Okay, Kurt, Duke Snider, good to see the Duker. We see him during the season. He is a broadcaster for the Montreal Expos, so it looks great, Tony.
Dodgers could have used that left-handed bat and that power in Yankee Stadium.
There's the Yankee bench. Of course, they're loose. They're ready to play. Here come the Dodgers. Listen.
Here's the defense for the Dodgers. Back home for Game 6. Steve Garvey at first base. Second base, it's Davey Lopes, who had the 2 good ball games here, Games 1 and 2. There's the shortstop, Bill Russell, along with American League umpire Bill Haller. Ronnie Say, the Dodgers third baseman. Would you believe any infield would be happy to get back home to this infield, Tom? In left field, it's Dusty Baker. Center fielder, Rick Monday. Out in right field, Reggie Smith, whose bat shows some signs that he better hurry of coming around. There's a change, the catcher, Joe Ferguson. And the pitcher, Don Sutton. One of those deals where it might be the biggest ball game he's ever had to pitch, but he's been in this situation many times before.
Don Sutton will have to come up with a pretty well-pitched ball game, Tom.
Well, there's no question about it, Joe, that the Dodgers need it now. That last game in New York did not leave a good taste in their mouth, that's for sure. And coming home to this ballpark, in front of their fans, comfortable, feel like they're playing in their own front yard, is going to be a big boost to them. But I think psychologically, they've got to get through the first couple innings. The first ground ball, they've got to field it cleanly. They've got to throw right, get them off on the right foot.
Here we go. Mickey Rivers, who usually swings at the first pitch, is waiting. He misses it. Strike 1. Rivers hitting .429, 14 times at bat, 6 base hits. He's stolen 1 base. Say is moved in close at third. That's going to be out of play. And it's 2 quick strikes on Mickey Rivers. Bouncing ball to Lopes. Boy, there it was. A low throw. The pressure showed. But you have to have an eraser, and Garvey was the eraser.
Tell you what, Joe, Lopes got surprised when he waited, and Mickey Rivers ran better than he's run most of the time this series. He forced the slow throw, and it is not a short hop. That is a tough hop, that in-between hop that Garvey just scooped out.
This is the type of play in the first inning that can pick the club up. Even though they did get a bad play, they got the good play at first base from Steve Garvey, and they got the first out. First step out of the cradle. They should be in good shape.
Well, there goes a base hit. Dusty Baker cuts it off. Looked like a two-base hit when it started. So the Yankees have a base runner, Roy White. White hitting .350. Now he's 8 for 21. It brings up Munson, who has 7 base hits, 20 times at bat. That's a .350 average.
Now let's see if Bob Lemon goes right off the bat with a pretty good base steal on first base from Roy White. A good contact man up at the plate. A control pitcher, pretty much. He may start the runner and go hit and run.
Munson, who can hit the ball to the right side. They play him just straight away. He uses the whole ballpark, maybe even some of the parking lot. Roy White, a lead at first. 1 strike the count, 1 out. Ball game just getting started. There goes White. Bouncing ball. Russell vacated. Makes the play as he backtracks. There was another play that's got to pick you up, Tony.
Bill Russell almost left his shortstop position a little too soon on the breaking ball. He was covering. Fastball, it might have been Lopes. But about this time, Russell is leaving the shortstop spot, but it is topped by Munson. Not hit sharply enough. Now you see him go back to his original position, but Munson does get the runner in scoring position.
So there are 2 away, and it brings up Reggie Jackson as we look at Roy White at second base. Jackson hitting .444, 8 base hits, 18 times at bat, 1 home run, 6 runs batted in. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Jackson, one of the 5 players who have hit safely in every game. Bouncing ball to Russell, big hop. Inning is over. Yankees go down in the top half of the first, and coming to the bottom half of the first inning, it's Yankees nothing, Dodgers coming to bat.
Dodger Stadium, Chavez Ravine here in Los Angeles. Game number 6 of the World Series. Here's the defensive alignment for the Yankees. Jim Spencer's at first base. It's Brian Doyle once again at second. Doyle and Stanley have done a good job out there defensively. Bucky Dent's the shortstop. At third base, Greg Nettles. In left field, Roy White. Center fielder, talking to some fans, Mickey Rivers. In right field, he's been steady, Lou Piniella. The catcher, Thurman Munson. Joe indicated he's leading the series in RBIs with 7. He's swinging the bat well the last few games. And the pitcher for the Yankees, Jim Catfish Hunter. He wants to get it over and go hunting.
His brother supposedly got his 6-point buck, and so he said he wants to join him. Got to have that incentive, so Catfish says he has it, but he's facing Davey Lopes, who is hitting .273 with 6 base hits, 22 times at bat. Ball 1. Lopes with 2 home runs, hit those in the first game. Catfish doesn't waste any time. He gets the ball and throws it. Outside. Catfish started game number 2 at Los Angeles last Wednesday, losing 4-3 to Hooten, allowing 4 runs, 7 hits in 6 innings. Deep to left field. Going back is Roy White. There it is. It is a 1-0 ball game.
I really couldn't tell, Tony. I think it was a fastball he got upstairs. Looked like a sinking fastball he got up. His mistake was that he got to 2-0.
Many thought the Dodgers would cuff Catfish Hunter around one more time. No better place to start than with the irrepressible Davey Lopes leading off.
The next pitch hit deep to left. White is going back. That ball is gone. Davey Lopes has jumped in his 3rd home run of the series. And
Catfish, of course, gave up 16 home runs this year. He gives up a lot of home runs.
Here's a base hit dropping in for Russell. Russell gets another hit. And so the Dodgers' first two batters, a home run by Davey Lopes. That ball in Yankee Stadium, Roy White would probably be running in on it. But here, it's a home run, and that's what they were talking about, getting home, getting to the friendly ballpark.
What has happened so far in this World Series shows how much the word momentum means. Nothing. The Yankees come in with it, and look what happens. The Dodgers turn it around.
Here's Reggie Smith, strike one. Russell, now 11 hits and 24 times at bat. Popped up behind the plate. Munson coming back and doesn't have room. Smith hitting .238, 21 times at bat, 5 base hits, 1 home run. There are 5 players.
Here's Roy White. Went back as far as he could with a hand on the fence to gauge where he was going and get a little left. Almost hits a left field cameraman or left center field cameraman on top of the noggin.
It hit him in the arm. Looked like a glancing blow there. Through hail, through rain, through snow, our NBC cameras will be there through baseballs. Reggie Smith is out on strikes. Steve Garvey, and he's got a hit for these Dodgers to win. Garvey has 5 base hits and 20 times at bat. But the big thing is no home runs, no runs batted in. And this is a fellow who drove in 113 runs during the season, 3rd in the league. There goes the runner. Here's a throw by Munson. They got him. I don't know how he threw that ball. It was shades of Eldon Walker. It's a submariner. He really submarine. Now watch the release. This is something to marvel at. It's not something you really want to practice. He does everything wrong except get the man. Loses his balance, throws it underhand, gets the ball there in time, and that's all that counts. They don't pay you for looking good.
Well, you can throw it as hard as you want, but if you wind up to throw it, it still does not get there very quickly. He did not throw it very hard, but he got rid of it quickly and accurately, and it got there as quick as a hard thrower.
It's amazing how he threw that ball submarine like Eldon Walker used to do it. You remember a submariner?
Eldon Walker?
You don't remember him?
I missed him.
Used to be with the St. Louis Browns. We used to watch him as kids. Here's the pitch to Garvey. It's a bouncy ball, pull foul.
Now you can see on that pitch, Joe, that's a slider down and away with a count 2-2, and Steve's going out and trying to pull that ball. And that's just not the way that Steve Garvey normally hits. That's not the Garvey that ends up getting 200 hits in a season. He just doesn't normally hit that way.
Are you saying he's pressing?
I don't know if he's pressing or exactly if he's uncomfortable. I really don't know what's wrong with him, but he certainly does not look like the Steve Garvey that we normally see in the National League.
He looks like he's feeling for the ball, like he's not sure of himself.
They haven't given him very many strikes. That last pitch was up and in out of the strike zone. The one before was down and away. That's a bad pitch, isn't it?
Looked like it was outside, and he's out on strikes. That ends the inning. But on a home run by Lopes at the end of 1 inning, Yankees nothing, Dodgers 1. That's going to be a good one, Danny Red Lopez, Little Red Lopez, Fel Clemente, Sports World Special Edition. You're looking at Los Angeles. Ballpark are creepy all over this ballpark. We got a couple of them roaming. Pinella, 6 base hits, 21 times at bat, hitting .286. Big base hit off Wells to win the game. Throws his bat, backhanded by Say, long throw. They got him. Pinella doesn't believe it. He's still standing at first base with his hands on his hips.
Pretty good play by Ronnie Say. Look how far he goes, right to the line. Does not panic. It's a long, fairly accurate throw. Good stretch. It was just a bang-bang play, a bang-bang call for Ed Vargo. He got him by a half a step. There you see it. Ron Say. They are upset, the Dodger defense, I'll tell you that. From all, well, we talked about it earlier, they've taken some cheap shots.
Now Ed Vargo is not to take anything from somebody in that bench, he'll go in and clean them out.
Spinella.
He is really upset.
It's a good call, Joe.
He had it, Tony. Vargo, he's looking right in there. Pinella, he's going to have to cool it. Reggie Jackson trying to cool him down.
I think Sutton has done a very good job here. In the first inning especially, he got out of the inning without giving up a run, which was a big lift to the Dodgers. And, of course, Davey Lopes' home run. There's another shot of that play at first. And one thing already, we've got 4 outs by the Dodgers, all of them in the infield. Davey Lopes has made 2 outs, 2 assists. Bill Russell has an assist. Ron Say has an assist on a very good play as you look up Pinella again.
There's a base hit in the right center field. Reggie Smith coming over. So is Monday. It's Monday who cuts it off. So Nettles has a base hit with 1 out. And it brings up Spencer, the first baseman. We'll pause briefly for our station identification. This is the NBC television network. Ball 4. Spencer draws the walk. That's the first walk given up by Don Sutton. And it brings up Doyle, Brian Doyle. There's Lasorda. Doyle, 4 for 12, 333. As you watch Sutton pitch, you may see him rub down above the belt, rub down below the belt. What he's doing is either adding or subtracting to the signal already given to him by his catcher. You have that worked out. Strike 1, breaking ball. Foul ball, strike 2.
Here's a 1-2 to Doyle. Curveball, loop to left center. After it is Baker, and he will not get to it. Past him. Around third base, Nettles will score, and they'll hold Spencer at third base. We've got a tie ball game. They had Baker playing in shallow and near the line in left field, and Brian Doyle looped one in the left center field. Baker could not get to it. Got it on the first hop.
Hits it all the way out the left field alley. Dusty Baker ran it down. You wouldn't expect a little guy like that to be able to hit the ball over your head, but it was a real bad pitch that Sutton threw, a high curveball. Drives in a run, got men at second and third, still in scoring position. There's Jim Spencer going around third, and third base coach Dick Hauser holding him up, getting him back to third.
Well, you saw a lot of great action there. You saw John Kibler, the umpire, set himself. He's at third base. This is Bucky Dent. It's a strike.
Well, what they wanted from Stanley and, of course, Doyle, who've been alternating and platooning at second base, is steady defense. Make the double play, make the plays. They've gotten, Doyle's gotten 5 base hits. That's a plus.
Up the middle, it's a base hit. 1 run is in. Here comes Doyle. The throw to the plate is not in time, and the Yankees lead 3-1. And now the ball gets by Ferguson, and down to second base goes Bucky Dent. And all the good they did with the good plays was just erased with that sloppy play right there.
I've got to believe they're going to charge an error to Ferguson, the catcher, because Garvey decoyed on the cutoff from center fielder Monday. We'll see it coming right at you. Here's the hit up the middle, scoots through the hard infield here in Chavez Ravine. Monday's throw, 1 run is scored. Now he's going home. It was not a good throw. Garvey decoyed and throws the runner going around. That was Dent. And then when the ball went through Ferguson's leg, Dent got in scoring position also. So charge an error to Ferguson. There it is. You can see Spencer, who's just scored, saying, stay up, stay up. No chance for a play to Doyle. Right there, the ball handcuffs Ferguson.
First pitch, it's pulled on the first base line. Garvey, foul ball. Ground ball to Lopes. In time. Rivers is out. Bucky Dent moves on over to third.
Roy White.
Roy White is the batter. White single to left his first time up. All started with a hit by Nettles, a walk to Spencer, a double to Doyle, a single by Dent there, and it's 3-1. Yankees. Left field, Dusty Baker should make the play. He does. So White flies to Baker. That ends the inning. We go into the bottom half of the second inning. New York Yankees 3, Los Angeles Dodgers 1. A view from Dodger Stadium I don't know where our camera is. He's way out there. We're live. Our NBC cameras getting all over this place. I'm telling you. High atop a hill in center field. Tony, we talk about the moods of these two different ball clubs. You would think that the Dodgers would have to go and really stick a lot of splinters in that Yankee bat rack. I mean, overpower them. And
well, Sutton hasn't really pitched a good game. He hasn't gotten a win since September 15th. He's been struggling. He's on the verge of a great pitcher. He's been a great pitcher for the Dodgers for many years. But I've got to believe he's going to get a hard throw in there, as you said, Joe. Maybe it's a Welch for 2 innings to just shut the Yankees off right now and hope they can come back with some runs. But that's Tommy's decision.
Here is Ronce. I tell you, you can't head these Yankees off at the pass. You're going to have to get them before they leave the fort.
Not when they got one game to wrap it all up. That's today.
Live fly ball, left field. White's going back. Has he got room? Looks like he has. Makes the play. Just got under it.
And Catfish better not continue to pitch up in that area. Tom?
Well, he's one of the. I was talking to Clyde King before the game, and the thing that he didn't want, you see a shot of Say and that high fly ball, and Nettles at third base. Look at Greg.
Relax, will you? Cheer down, Greg.
That's my old buddy Greg. Roy White in left field. He must be about 6, 8, 10 feet from the wall. One thing that Clyde King wanted to see Catfish do was to establish his slider down and away, keep the ball down in the strike zone. Catfish got the American League record for most home runs allowed lifetime of 359, and that is one of his problems, is the home run ball.
It's fouled out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike.
This about that slider that King was telling, and Art Fowler really is the pitching coach in his ball club, but the pitch that, and Fowler was saying, the pitch that Hunter has really lost does not have the velocity like it once did, is the slider. He still has the change of speeds, the curveball, he changed up well, but he cannot throw that slider hard enough after the arm problem.
Ground ball to Dent. They get Dusty Baker. I tell you, in deference to our good friend Alan Roth, and he won't get upset when I say this, but some statistics I think are ridiculous, like home runs allowed by a pitcher. And it depends on the innings pitched and when they're given up. There's so many factors. The ballpark comes into play.
How many men on when they're hit? That's the most important, too.
I tell you.
Robin Roberts used to give them up, didn't he?
Oh, did he ever? He'd give you that nice, comfortable collar we always talked about, too. 2 outs and nobody on. Here is Rick Monday. First pitch, ground ball. Doyle has it. Catfish has an easy inning. 3 up, 3 down for the Dodgers. We complete 2 innings of baseball here, and it's the New York Yankees 3, the Dodgers 1. Coming to bat for the Yankees, it'll be Thurman Munson to lead it off, followed by Reggie Jackson and then Lou Piniella. Well, here it's the Hollywood connection, they call it. You're looking, the man drinking the Coke, I guess, whatever it is Jerry Weintraub, one of the big impresarios here. He is sitting in Frank Sinatra's box seat. Frank, who is in New York, I'm sure, if he gets a chance, watching it. He's an honorary coach for Lasorda. Julie Rizzo, Don Rickles. I tell you, it's like going to watch Hollywood Square as you come out the ballpark here. They're all here. Ball 1 to Thurman Munson. Munson bounced out to the shortstop his first time up. It's a strike right on the outside corner. I'm like Munson, I didn't believe that call, but it is. I hesitated. I thought it was outside. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Curveball. Tap foul. He looks like he's got a good breaking ball, Tom, the overhand curveball.
Got a very good breaking ball. The bad one he threw was to Brian Doyle. He's getting it over for strikes. He just hung it right up in his eyes.
Munson is out on strikes. That's the first strikeout for Don Sutton.
There's another curveball again, and it's a dandy. Sutton gets right on top of the ball, really pulls it down. His right arm gets all the way through. See how his right arm goes all the way through? Right down, just below the knees. Pretty good pitch. Can't hit that one.
With this camera action here, you see Munson reacting to it. I'm sure he's asking the umpire if that ball was a strike. He just wants to hear what he said. He's not arguing at all. Sutton really curls his hand around that ball, Tom.
Really gets his hand on top of it. Gets all the four seams working in his favor. Tries to get that curveball to dig right down. He wants it to go straight down.
That was a fastball to Jackson. It missed, ball one. You're watching from this shot as he curls his hand around, and when he does that, you know it's a curveball. There it was.
I still think the thing that Sutton's going to have to do if he's going to come back in this ball game, because the Yankees are such good hitters, he's going to have to start getting some hitters out with his fastball, or they're going to lay for that curveball. Reggie Jackson just swung at what looked like a slider, but he's going to have to throw some fastballs and get some hitters out.
I think you're exactly right, Tony. Yeah, you see Reggie's feet as he's digging in at home plate. When Nettles got his base hit, it was 1 ball and 2 strikes. He's Sutton was ahead of him. And Nettles is a fastball hitter. He hit that curveball like he knew was coming. Like he's sitting on the curveball even though he's got 2 strikes on it.
It's outside, turned it over. 2 balls and 1 strike. It's not a big screwball when he turns it over, but it's enough to, if you try to hit it, you're just not going to get it. It's in a good spot. Breaking ball. Again. 2 and 2's the count.
He's throwing a lot of curveballs tonight, and there's another one going straight down. It's not an easy pitch to hit. It's easy if you get it up in the strike zone. Keep it down, it's tough.
Struck him out. Second strikeout. It brings up Lou Piniella. Piniella bounced out his first time up. Dodger fans whooping it up. They want to see baseball tomorrow. And if there is a Game 7, we'll be right here. And we'll be looking for you. 2 outs, nobody on. Didn't mean to swing. An easy ground ball to Garvey. He'll take it himself. Easy inning for Sutton. 3 up, 3 down. Now we go to the bottom half of the 3rd inning. It's New York 3, Los Angeles 1. And due up for the Dodgers, it'll be Joe Ferguson, Vic Davalillo, the designated hitter, and Davey Lopes. Joe Ferguson, a big guy, 6'2", 215 pounds, 32 years old. He began his career in the Dodger organization in 1968 and went to St. Louis and Houston and back to Los Angeles early this year. It's a strike. Foul ball.
You know, Joe, earlier Tony was talking about Catfish and his sore arm, and he's had some shoulder trouble. The reason being that he pitches across his body. His left leg comes down, and he actually places it on the other side of his foot, on the other side of his right foot, and causing him to throw across his body. A lot of strain on your shoulder.
Right center field, well hit. Piniella going back, and had the ball, hit the wall, drops it. Ferguson stops at second. Piniella may be hurt. He hit that wall hard. There goes the trainer, Gene Monahan. What an effort by Piniella.
Piniella extended himself as far as he could go after an excellent jump. He tried to backhand the ball in the glove, and nope, it popped out before he hit the wall, actually. It's something we did not see initially, but he ran headlong right into the wall in right center field. I'll tell you, he made one heck of a try, as you said, Joe, but here's what happens when you play in a strange ballpark. His own ballpark, you would know, he hit the side of his face, the left side, right into the fence.
Tony, on the replay, you can see it from just watching. It looked like he had the ball, but it went out of his glove before he got there. But he was on the warning track. He knew he was close, and it didn't slow him down at all. Tremendous effort.
You wonder, Joe, if that ball popped off the side of his glove when he tried to backhand it. When he hit that warning track, he might have taken his eye off. We couldn't see. He'd have to look right directly in his eyes. And by doing that, by looking for the wall, he lost sight of the ball for a split second.
Well, our director, Harry Coyle, who will end up probably in a wax museum somewhere for his great coverage. He'll be coming to see the guy who gets these shots with our great camera crew. So, Harry, once again, great replays. Congratulations to all of you. Davalillo, beautiful bunt. It's going to be a race, and Catfish Hunter wins it. He was bunting for the base hit. But what happens is gets a sacrifice as Ferguson moves to third.
Saw the kind of athlete that Catfish Hunter is right here, Tommy.
He does all the things that a good pitcher has to do, Tony. There's no question about it. He was going that way off the mound, and Davalillo still runs well for an elderly man, shall we say, about 40, 44 years old. A good bunt and a good play by both the first baseman Jim Spencer and the pitcher Catfish Hunter.
Here is Davy Lopes, who hit a home run in that first inning to give the Dodgers a 1-0 lead, erased by the Yankees 3 runs in the second. Ferguson is on at third base, 1 man out. And here's the pitch. It's popped up foul. Tom, you talked about Davalillo, the elderly man. The current press guide lists his birthday as July 31st, 1939, which would make him 39 years old. But older reference books list his birthday as 1936, which would make him 42. So like Satchel Paige, he's older than 9, but under 70.
Nettles playing in at third base in case Davey tries to drop a bunt down.
High fastball, 1 ball, 1 strike. This is what they have not been able to do, drive in that run from third base with less than 2 outs. Ferguson. They'll get him this time. Lopes comes through. It's a 3-2 ball game. Ferguson scores.
Was Lopes the key to first victory for this Dodger ball club? Game 1 here of the 1978 World Series. You started off again right back here at home in Chavez Ravine with the second RBI in the game. He really tomahawked that pitcher's up out of the strike zone.
Ball 1. Davy Lopes, as we look at the Dodger bench, he would like to steal a base here.
I think he's going to be given a chance by Lasorda also. Russell up, who protects the runners so well.
Munson threw out Russell in that first inning, but Davy Lopes again in the game of messages. Lopes would like to deliver a message that you can't get me if I run. There he goes. Munson throws. Lopes makes it.
Bucky Dent, the shortstop backing up the plays, reaction to see Doyle right now arguing was that he might have been out. It was very close. Bill Haller's the man down there. Munson got rid of the ball in a hurry. It was awfully close. Bang, bang, but Lopes' foot got in there just in time, Joe.
Davy Lopes. Munson made a fantastic throw once again. And Davy Lopes, as we look at 3 replays, again, Harry giving us a great shot. Here comes number 4. Watch Lopes. He's going straight for the bag. Nothing fancy.
His foot was on the bag, and the tag by Doyle was slapped right on the back of his heel.
Each replay told us something. The first one told us it was a straight steal. He never did look at the hitter. There's a pitch outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Davey put his head down and headed for second base. They're going to try to take this game away from the Yankees any way they can, and Lopes is the leader.
Got a good lead off second, Joe.
They better watch him. Outside. Brian Doyle is jockeying back and forth with 1 out. Even if you don't pick him off, they'd like to cut his lead down so the outfielders may have a play at the plate. 3-2. Yankees are leading. 1 man out. Russell walks.
Here's the man, according to the scouting report turned in by the Yankees, that the Yankee pitchers want to pitch around in any tough situation. It was not Garvey.
It was not Garvey.
They fear his left-handed bat, and they feared it especially in Yankee Stadium.
Doyle, 1 over the first double play. So the Yankees get a big double play, and Doyle makes a good play on his ball, Tony.
It was 1 super double play on both ends. Doyle, and now look at Dent. Under pressure, gets the throw off. Smith runs well. Russell really took him into a tumble. Great double play.
That he did. That ended the inning. So at the end of 3 complete innings, Yankees 3, Dodgers 2, and we got a dandy going. And we'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Here you get another look at the double play that ended the Dodgers' 3rd inning. If that ball goes through, the Dodgers end up with runners on 1st and 3rd, and Steve Garvey up. That's the pitcher's best friend right there, especially against a tough hitter like Reggie Smith.
Also, Tom, if Dent doesn't turn the double play, it's 1st and 3rd, 2 outs, and Garvey's up. So any way you look at it, both guys made a super play.
Nettles hits the first pitch foul into the stands. And you know, we were talking about most valuable players in this series, and that little Brian Doyle, who was supposed to be a blowout patch because Willie Randolph is out with an injury, pulled hamstring. Doyle, he drove in a big run in that second inning with a double, made this play. He and Stanley have done a tremendous job filling in for Randolph. 3 runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Yankees. 2 runs, 4 hits, and 1 error for the Dodgers. We are in the 4th. Game 6. Yankees leading 3-2 in games. 3-2 in runs in this game. Left center field. Going back is Monday. Has room. 1 out.
Jim Spencer.
Brings up Jim Spencer. Spencer walked and scored in the 2nd inning. He scored on a base hit by Bucky Dent. Strike is called. 3.3 million saw the Dodgers play during the regular season. That's a lot of anything. People, jelly beans, whatever. Fouls it back. 2 strikes. Strike is called. Spencer is out on strikes. That's the 3rd strikeout for Sutton.
You heard Tony talk about it before, that Sutton is going to have to try to get some people out with his fastball. But he did it right here. He set up that pitch with some good breaking balls before. I think Spencer was looking for the pitch out over the plate. A good fastball right on that inside corner.
And here's Brian Doyle. Doyle doubled in the 2nd inning. A big base hit for the Yankees. Takes it outside, ball 1. Does it look to you guys that Baker's moved back a little bit? It looks the same to me.
I think he's moved back a couple steps.
Right off the glove of Sutton. Doyle's heading for first, and he'll make it another base hit for him. He's 2 for 2 tonight. Tell you. He hit that ball right back up the middle, hit it hard.
One of the things, if you're a pitcher, that you have to be aware of is that shot that comes right back at you. You'll see it right here. Boom. That glove's on your hand for a little protection as well as trying to get somebody out. Sutton thought he might have had that ball at first. Looked like he had a shot at it.
There's Doyle. Bucky Dent loops one into center field. It's going to drop. Doyle stops at 2nd base. So once again, the 8th and 9th place hitters are on base with base hits.
Russell has no chance. The last 3 hitters have been on base 5 times so far in this ball game.
So Doyle is on at 2nd. Dent is on at 1st. We have 2 men out. Yankees leading by a run. 3-2 is the score. We're in the 4th, and now it's Mickey Rivers, who has bounced out twice to the 2nd baseman as we look at Patty Sutton. Left field. Baker should make the play. He does. Rivers lines hard to Baker. Leaves 2 runners stranded. The Yankees do not score in the 4th, so as we go into the bottom half of the 4th inning, the score, New York Yankees 3, Los Angeles Dodgers 2. Then coming to bat for the Dodgers in the 4th inning, it'll be Steve Garvey, Ron Cey, and Dusty Baker. Bottom half of the 4th inning. This is Patty Sutton on that last one. Look, up for the fly ball, and then the reaction. Whew. Whew. My man got him. I tell you, lovely ladies. Foul back by Garvey.
Garvey's having one of those kinds of series where the fastballs, even though they're not real tough fastballs, he's a little bit laid out. The off-speed pitches, he's a little bit in front. He's just, I don't know if it's more mental or more physical, but he's in one of those twilight zones that he just can't seem to get in the groove. When he does get his pitch, he fouls it off. I guess it's called a slump, isn't it?
Well, I don't know if there's that many times at bat, Tony, as he fouls this one off, but Garvey coming into today's game was 5 for 20 with no home runs, no runs batted in. So he is 5 for 21. And Cindy, his wife, looking on. He's got to hit for them to go. And for him not to hit, it's going to just slow down the big machine because he's right in the middle of it. He's the fourth place hitter. He's got to tattoo the ball. Takes the pitch outside. Ball 1. Fouled out of play. Garvey seemed to have a good cut at that one.
Fastball a little bit late again. A little bit behind it.
You know, Tony, you talk about hitters being uncomfortable. And the big thing is that when you're uncomfortable, when you get your pitch that you can hit as a hitter, to drive, you miss it. You foul it off back here in the back in the seats, just like you did.
Right at Greg Nettles. Hit the ball hard, but Garvey is out. Ran hard, but Nettles has shown he can play.
You can see the sigh of relief on Nettles' part right there. That came very close to going right through his leg because the ball got out of him in a hurry on this fast infield. He just got the tailgate down in time. He really battles it. That tough one again, almost right at him. You can see it. He caught it right in the tip of his glove in the webbing. Even a great fielder like Nettles sighed in relief after he did catch that hard shot.
Brings up Ron Say, who flied deep to left his first time up. Makes it high. Ball 1. 1 out, nobody on. 3-2. Yankees lead the Dodgers.
You could see Thurman on that one. First he put his hand down low, and then he put his hand up high. He's sending 2 messages out to Catfish.
High pop fly. Bucky Dent drifts into short left field. Should make the play. He does. 2 outs.
Catfish Hunter has become one of the highest paid players in all of baseball by doing just what he did. Making a lot of hitters have good swings, just miss, throw their bat, and they say, nuts, I'll get them next time. The next time you might do the same thing to you.
Munson's going out to talk to Catfish Hunter, and Munson knows his pitchers so well. In one game this season, Catfish was telling me that his arm didn't feel exactly right. He threw the ball. Munson went out there and said, you're not throwing the ball, and if you're not throwing it, you're going to get out of here. And he had like a 7-run lead, and they took him out before he could get complete a victory out of it. He knows his pitchers. Hot smash. Look at Bucky Dent. What a play. Got him. Fantastic play by Bucky Dent. I don't believe it, Tony.
Well, you're going to see a replay of it, and you still might not believe it. Dent goes 4 or 5 steps to his left, extends himself all the way as far as he could, somehow regains his balance. The only position in the infield where you've got to make a lot of off-balance throw, and that's shortstop, and he did.
Fantastic play by Bucky Dent. Ends the inning at the end of 4 complete innings. Yankees 3, Dodgers 2.
Major League Baseball presents Big League Tips.
Look what you can learn about a baseball game from reading the box score. Each player's times at bat, runs scored, hits, and runs batted in. The inning-by-inning score, who made errors and extra base hits, how each pitcher did, how long the game took, and the attendance. Box scores help you spot the hot pitchers and hitters. Add to your baseball enjoyment. Read a box score today. Baseball fever. Catch it.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Well, it was Nettles in Game 3. Today it's been Doyle and the Dent show. Dent retired the side, caught that ball when it was almost on the outfield grass. It was past him. Roy White, Thurman Munson, Reggie Jackson to face Sutton. Yankees lead 3-2 over the Dodgers. We're in the top of the 5th. Bug, Say was charging, but it goes foul. 2 strikes. White grew up on a team of kids where they used to imitate the Musials, the Williams, and most of them were switch hitters, just horsing around. And look what it's done for him. Check swing, did he go far enough? Appeal played, and the third base umpire, John Kibler, said, yes, you did, Roy White. So White's out on strikes, 1 down. Home plate umpire Joe Brinkman looked at third base for the appeal, and here's what he got. Here's the help he got from Kibler. You bring up Munson. Grounded out and struck out. 1 out. 3-2 ball game. The Yankees lead. We're in the 5th. Hit hard. Say battles a tough hop. Over to Garvey. Out number 2. So the Dodgers finding their infield at home a little more to their liking.
Here you see a shot from our left field camera. It's a 1-2 pitch. Another breaking ball that Ron Say gets down on one knee. Fires across to Garvey. Thurman is out easily. Another fine play by Ron Say at third base. The Dodgers expressed some ill feelings about the field in Yankee Stadium, and they look like they're a lot more comfortable coming home playing on their own red infield.
Reggie Jackson with 2 outs. He's grounded out and he's struck out. Wide on the black, 1 strike. Sutton looks a lot sharper now than he did in the first inning or two. He's gone a little more to the fastball. He's been around the corners. Oh, Reggie might have been looking breaking ball, and Sutton came very close to throwing a fastball right by him high and in. There goes that shaking of the head. Ferguson was not even giving a sign at that time, and Sutton was shaking him off just to try and freeze Reggie. He blew it right by him, so he gets Jackson with a 2-2 pitch. Sutton retires the side, 3 down. We'll go to the last of the 5th in Dodger Stadium. It's the Yankees 3, the Dodgers 2. Catfish Hunter with a 1-run lead. 1 ball. In case you didn't see the first ball game the Cat pitched, Tom Seaver talked about the therapy he underwent. He was hypnotized and they broke the adhesions in that shoulder. Fouled off, 1-1. He also found a little flaw in his delivery, watching some home movies over the winter time, where he had changed his delivery because of that sore shoulder. He has pitched a lot of innings in his baseball career. 1 ball, 1 strike. He had like a 9 or 10 year stretch there where it seemed like he was averaging almost, I don't have the fact before me, almost 300 innings a year. With a DH, some of those innings are awfully tough. 2-2. That Catfish is one guy. There's Joe Ferguson on deck. Catfish said when the DH came in that he thought it would take some years off the end of his career because those innings you pitch with the DH late in the ball game, he gets Monday. Your arm might be a little tired, and when you got to throw the hard breaking ball to a tough hitter, there's a little more strain on the shoulder and elbow. Joe Ferguson, who doubled, scored a run in the 3rd. The only other Dodger run was Davey Lopes, a home run leading off the ball game for the Dodgers. Yankees scored all 3 of theirs in the 2nd. Nettles single, Spencer walked, Doyle doubled, left field, Dent single. Foul out of play, 1 strike. 2-strike pitch to Ferguson. He didn't waste one, Hunter. Ferguson drilled it to center field. Mickey Rivers began to limp as he came in for the ball, but he made a nice catch in short center field. 2 outs.
You know, another thing about an outstanding pitcher like Catfish Hunter is that the guys that play behind him, not only the catcher, but the shortstop and the center fielder and everybody that plays behind him, Cat doesn't fool around on the mound. He gets up there and he gets ready and he pitches. And he doesn't pitch behind. He doesn't go to 3 balls and no strikes. He doesn't go to 3-1. He's not 3-2 on everybody. He gets the ball, he gets ahead of his hitters, and he makes them swing the bat. And that makes for a lot better play behind the pitcher. Guys behind him make the great plays for the outstanding pitchers that will pitch quickly and stay ahead of their hitters.
No doubt about it. 2 outs, 1 ball, no strikes on Vic Davalillo, the designated hitter, batting in the number 9 spot. Look at that right leg kick. Can you recall, and off the top of your head, Tom, what's the least amount of pitches you ever threw in a complete ball game?
Oh, probably about 95, maybe.
This guy threw a ball game a couple of years ago where he threw something like 79 or 80 pitches. So you can imagine what happens with an infielder fouled off toward the Dodger dugout. Nettles wants to climb the dugout, but he can't get at it. 2 balls and 1 strike. But that is remarkable. Some of the guys you think of, maybe a Nolan Ryan, who throw 200 pitches, 250 pitches, whatever it is, they strike out a lot. But you're on your toes as an infielder, up and down, back on your heels. This guy throws 80, you can be up. Little chopper that Nettles makes a nice play out to retire the fleet-footed Davalillo. So the Dodgers go down in the last of the 5th. The score as we go to the 6th, the Yankees 3, the Dodgers 2. 2 up, the 6th for the Yankees, Piniella, Greg Nettles, and Jim Spencer. 3-2, the Yankees lead over the Dodgers in the 6th. He has always been a good hitter, as that stat shows you. Breaking ball, Piniella jumps all over it for a line drive base hit in front of Dusty Baker. So with nobody out, the Yankees have the leadoff hitter on in the 6th. Bring up Greg Nettles.
There you see Mrs. Piniella pretty happy about her man's base hit.
Piniella at first, you can see the dirt on his back. That was from the collision he had with the right center field wall on the double out there that he had in his glove momentarily. Big hole for Nettles to shoot through a pull header with Garvey holding Piniella. He had a good cut but fouled off a fastball. He went after a bad pitch, 1 strike pitch, hit it high in the air. Reggie Smith should have an easy play. 1 out in the 6th.
Going after pitches like that will give you an uncomfortable feeling, that's for sure.
Well, and if the Dodgers win tonight, Game 7 will be played tomorrow night right here in Dodger Stadium, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And we know you'll join us. Jim Spencer. 1 strike, 1 out. Yankees lead 3-2. We're in the top of the 6th. Very valuable man of the Yankees this season. Fouled off out of play. 2 strikes. Kind of a quiet Dodger crowd since the Yankees jumped ahead. What was that? In the dirt, but he is out. The hitter is out automatically in that situation. With first base occupied, and if the strikeout in that particular case, the ball's missed. The hitter was out, but the runners can't advance, which Piniella did.
I'm surprised he didn't go to second base, Tony. Only time you do that is with 2 outs. I mean, Ferguson go to second base. I know Piniella did, but Ferguson had no intention of trying to get him. He just went to first base and didn't have to do it.
He didn't have to do that. And that's the kind of play that you kind of get a little rattled because the hitter, Nettles, was out. I mean, Spencer was out. But they did advance. Got to be charged as what? A wild pitcher pass ball?
Got to be a stolen base because the only time that you throw to first base with 2 outs.
So it's Brian Doyle with a Yankee runner in scoring position. But he wasn't stealing on the play. He went after the ball, went into the dirt. So I don't know how you can give him a stolen base, but we'll check the official score. Foul back. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs.
It boils down simply that Piniella didn't know the rule, neither did Ferguson. And so Piniella, when he saw the ball swung and missed, he figured he'd have to throw him out at first base. So he didn't really run like he was stealing. He kind of took off. So I don't know.
It's got to be, I believe, a wild pitch or a stolen base, or not a stolen base, a wild pitch or a pass ball. But we'll get the official ruling. There's Piniella at second with 2 outs. You question me, don't you? We'll let the official score decide, and we'll
Why would I
pass it on to
question
the
you?
fan.
I never question you, Tony.
Doyle, who's doubled, scored a run, a big double in the 2nd inning to keep that Yankee rally going. He's singled in the 4th. He's 2 for 2. And there, Kibler once again. Now he gets the old Bronx chair. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Piniella at second. Charge a wild pitch on the strikeout to Don Sutton.
I don't agree with that ruling.
Breaking ball too high, 3-1 to Doyle.
The reason I don't agree, I think that Ferguson had a lapse. He didn't know the rule.
Yeah, but he wasn't trying to steal until the ball hit the dirt and the strikeout was made. He didn't go until the ball got away from Ferguson.
Why punish the pitcher if you catcher don't know what's going on?
I want to punish you catchers. 3 balls, 1 base hit by Doyle. Piniella's going to have to come hard. Here comes Monday's throw. He is safe as the ball is fouled by Ferguson. He might have been out. Not an accurate throw from Monday, but now the Yankees take the lead 4-2. A 3-for-3 night by young Brian Doyle to drive in another key run in this 6th World Series ball game.
Watch this throw. Now, Monday, I think, from here, looked like he gave Ferguson a good ball to handle. It hit the mound, bounced in there. Ferguson is set. Just didn't catch the ball. He should have made the play. And Lasorda's coming out now.
There's Piniella going home, and it looked like Ferguson might have taken his eye off the ball and looked at the runner right at the last moment. You see another angle of Piniella scoring, and the ball by Doyle up the middle. You can't really get a good look at Ferguson's eyes, but it was a good throw. He should have been able to handle it. Monday made a fine throw from center field.
This is what the Dodgers were supposed to be to do to the Yankee outfield, and Dick Hauser, with 2 outs, just kept Piniella coming. He wanted to force a mistake, and the idea being, if you make a good throw, you got us. We've still got a 1-run lead. If you don't make a good throw or there's a botch up, we're going to have the 4th run on the board, a 2-run lead. And that's what happened. Brian Doyle, his first time up, got his first extra base hit in the American League. He had 10 singles during the regular season. Right now, he is 3 for 3 with 2 runs scored and a couple of RBIs. Tommy Lasorda has gone to the bullpen as Bucky Dent with 2 base hits and 2 attempts will come up to the plate. And there is young Bob Welch, the dramatic confrontation that Joe Garagiola called for you early in this World Series against Reggie Jackson. He won that time. So, as Bob Welch comes in to get loose, I'll tell you the score is the Yankees 4 and the Dodgers 2 in game number 6 of the 1978 World Series. We're at game number 6 in Dodger Stadium. Recap very quickly what's happened so far in this ball game. The Dodgers jumped off to a 1-run lead. Lopes with a home run. Here's that play thrown from Monday, Joe.
Well, Lasorda said he would give up some defense by putting in Ferguson to get some offense, and it cost him right here because it looked like it was a ball Joe could handle. And Piniella was not yet at the plate, didn't handle the ball, and Piniella was safe, so it's a 4-2 Yankee lead now.
Bob Welch has come on. He's the hard thrower we told you about who had the confrontation with Jackson and won it earlier. And then he suffered a loss in one of the other World Series games. 2 outs, 1 ball, no strikes on Dent. 4-2, the Yankees lead over the Dodgers with Doyle at second. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Yankees lead 4-2 over the Dodgers. We're in the top of the 6th. Doyle's at second. There's your line score. Trouble. Going to score another run as he shatters his bat. Doyle will score run number 5. So on a broken bat over Russell's head. Bucky Dent is also 3 for 3, and it is amazing. The 8 and 9 hitters are 6 for 6 in this ball game. 1 double by Doyle, and they have done some kind of job, Joe.
He gets jammed with this fastball, but he still has enough force behind his swing to just loop one of those polite singles that really stings a pitcher. Ball is not hit good. And Bucky Dent now has 10 base hits, 23 times at bat. He has driven in 7 runs. And Doyle is 7 for 15.
Mickey Rivers goes after a fastball, 1 strike. When you can get this kind of production from your 8 and 9 hitters, it is a real bonus. 6 for 6 between Doyle and Dent. 2 strikes on Rivers.
Watch Doyle round third. If he gets it, he just barely gets it. Whoops, just came close. He might have got the corner. They want you to step right in the middle, so there's no doubt, but he gave you a little excitement coming around there.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Is that the way you were taught to step in the middle?
The way I ran, yes, if I ever got there.
And one thing, Stengel always told us to do it just the way Doyle did. The inside corner with a left foot. Cut it more sharply. Foul up.
Any fast runner, I mean, I was station to station. I wasn't like you guys, express. If I got to first, I had to stop at second for gas. I went to third, I had to stop for repairs.
Now I know how that ball club you lost 114 ball games one year.
We did it on merit. Absolutely did it on merit.
1-2, he throws it all right by Mickey Rivers, but not without some trouble. The Yankees, with a good inning again, come up with 2 runs. Will go to the last of the 6th. The Yankees lead 5-2 over the Dodgers. The Dodgers will send up Davey Lopes, Bill Russell, Reggie Smith to try for this comeback. Down on the field right now, a man who is someday going to move into baseball special section of the Hall of Fame, as Red Barber and Mel Allen did, is our partner, Kurt Gowdy.
Thank you, Tony. Right place at the right time. It's happened to a lot of people in life. If somebody would have told Bob Lemon in spring training, you may manage the World Championship team this year, Lemon would have had him locked up. Fired by the White Sox, coming to the Yankees on the rise. He stayed in the background. We watch him over there very quietly in that Yankee dugout. His club in the lead now. But what a human interest story. Fired, hired as a pitching coach, and now the manager, if his club holds this lead, the manager of a World Championship team, Bob Lemon. Now back to Tony.
All right, Curtis, thank you. Davey Lopes, 1 strike. Lopes 2 for 2. Both RBIs in this ball game for the Dodgers, a home run and a single. He also has a stolen base. Greg Dennis playing even with a bag, retires Lopes.
That's a fine exhibition of pitching right there, Tony. First pitch, good hard slider and a good changeup here. We'll see Lopes get out in front of that ball, bounce it easily down to Greg Nettles. Another fine play by him. But on top of that, a fine exhibition of pitching and changing speeds by Catfish Hunter. Here's another look at Nettles, who seems to catch everything he gets to down there. A big asset to that Yankee infield.
You've heard the expression, soft hands. You just had a chance to see him on the in-between hop. He just caressed the ball to his body, got a tough hop. And Greg Nettles and the Yankee infield has had some kind of Super World Series defensively. Russell hits it deep to left field on a one-ball pitch, but not deep enough. Now White will come in. He's got it for the second out. Greg Nettles, who might have been the man, as you said, Tom, that turned this World Series around for the Yankees in game number 3. The bases are full. Nettles with a great play to dial to get the run and save 2 runs. What a display by Greg Nettles, the Yankee third baseman, who's making a believer of even Tom Seaver. He is absolutely fabulous. I don't believe it. Grounded foul. There's Jim Lefevre, the man who managed in this Dodger organization in the minor leagues this year, who took the place of Jim Gilliam, a real favorite.
Tony, just to put a cap on what Kurt said, and he said it so well. That Bob Lamb, he said, you know, I got a championship club. I just have to stay out of the way.
He's being too modest.
I think so,
because
too.
He has had to take a pitching staff that had some arm problems. There's Garvey on deck. 1 ball, 2 strike. Pitch to Reggie. The Yankee Ball Club, as has been said many times, have done the impossible an awful lot. Came from 14 behind. When Billy Martin resigned, he had the club in a 5-game winning streak. They were just 10.5 back. 3-2, 2 outs. Hunter facing Smith. There you see the road record of the Yankees. Any team in the major leagues, the best. Pulled foul again. Hunter's pitches are so close and have such good movement and change of speeds when they're on the corners. It's difficult to lay off his bat pitches, Tom.
Well, you know he has such good control that he's going to be around the strike zone. You know, and if he misses with a pitch, he's only going to miss 2 or 3 inches.
His lifetime career walk average is 2.5 per game. That's career. Check swing, bad pitch, chop ball. Nettles to Spencer. So they retire Smith. 3 up, 3 down. 6 are gone in Dodger Stadium. The score, the Yankees 5, the Dodgers 2. And we'll be back after these messages from your local station.
We're in the 7th inning. Roy White, Thurman Munson, and Jackson against Bob Welch. White 1 for 3. High, ball 1. Dodgers trailing by 3. Yankees 5 runs, 9 hits, no errors. Dodgers 2 for 1. All the way back, and it's ball 2. Roy White. White has had a good series. 8 for 23. But the story, his last 2 guys in the Yankee lineup, Doyle and Dent. Especially Dent. 3 balls, no strikes, Roy White.
You know, Tony, this is the 3rd time we've seen Welsh in this World Series, and we still haven't had a look at Doug Rau and Rick Rhodes, have we?
Nope.
2 guys that between them, I think they won 30 games during the year.
Ball 4, Roy White draws the base on ball, so the leadoff man is on. Shot of the Dodger Stadium from the parking lot. Live from Dodger Stadium, where the Yankees are leading by 3, 5-2 in the 7th inning with nobody out and 1 man on. It's a strike, a fastball. Bob Welch in relief of Don Sutton. Munson surprised everybody trying to bunt for the base hit. Munson is out on strikes. Welch gets his first strikeout. Second strikeout, he got Rivers to end the 6th inning. Here is Reggie Jackson as we look in Lasorda. Dodgers will have Garvey, Say, and Baker, the middle-end lineup coming up. 5-2, Yankees lead. 1 out, base runner at first is Roy White. Jackson Bounced out to the shortstop in the first, struck out in the third, struck out in the fifth.
He almost got quick bits, Joe.
Plate umpire Joe Brinkman called time. That's gone. That's two more. He stayed at home plate. Forget it. That's way out of here. Reggie Jackson knew he touched one off. He's battled Welch, and he just showed I am the boss, youngsters. He really drilled one. Tips his hat to the fans. And now we got a 7-2 ball game.
Here's a first pitch to Jackson. Swung on deep to right field. That ball is gone. No doubt about that one. That's back in the Yankee bullpen. Yankees score 2 more runs on a long home run by Reggie Jackson, and they now lead by a score of 7-2.
When Jackson hit that ball, which has become a trademark, Pinella takes it outside for ball 1. He just stood at home plate for a minute to watch it sail out. It's low, ball 2. He really put a charge into that.
I don't know which one was farther, that one or the home run in game 1, but they're both pretty close.
Center field, Monday going back, so is Smith. Monday takes charge.
Reggie takes as big a swing as anybody that I've seen in the big leagues, including the big guy Scargill and McCovey in the National League. And when he hits them, he knows that they're gone. He hits those shots that, I mean, they're just out of everything. And that's gone. And he likes to enjoy them, too.
Oh, does he love to watch him.
Last time he was here, of course, in Dodger Stadium facing Bob Welch. Welch struck him out in a very exciting ball game.
There they go. Struck him out. Ball game is over. Bob Welch, a tremendous pitching performance. Listen to the crowd.
What a dramatic game that was. And Reggie just put a crusher on him.
Off the handle, Reggie Smith should have no problem. So that ends the inning, the 7th inning, and the score: Yankees 7, Dodgers 2, and for the Dodgers it'll be Steve Garvey, Ron Cey, and Dusty Baker. The youngster Bob Welch on the Dodger bench. He just gave up a 2-run homer to Reggie Jackson. He'll watch now as Garvey, Cey, and Baker will try to score some runs for the Dodgers. Line drive, left field. Roy White comes in, makes the play, and there's 1 out. We're in the 7th.
Third baseman, Ron Cey.
If the one thing the Yankees have done throughout this series, as we see the line drive catch by Roy White, is they've been very steady defensively. They've had spots where they've been sensational. Nettles and Doyle and Dent today a couple of times, but they haven't messed up too many balls, Joe.
No, they haven't. And here is Ron Cey. It's a strike. I started to say, and they wanted, I'm sure, 6 tough innings out of Catfish Hunter. He is pitching a 4-hitter. It opened up with a home run by Lopes. Lopes has 2 of those 4 hits. Left field, Roy White comes in. He'll not get this one, and there is the 5th hit. Ron Cey is on. This crowd comes to life.
Well, Joe, if the Dodgers are going to get back in this game, the middle of this lineup has got to do something. Of course, Steve Garvey has been quiet the entire World Series. He made the first out of this inning, and Ron Cey here singles with that 1 out. But they've got to have some production out of these middle guys. Cey, Baker, Monday. The guys did a lot for him during the regular season, and they've only got 8 outs left. They're going to have to hustle.
Baker Baker bounced out in the second inning, robbed of a base hit by Bucky Dent. Down the left field line, Roy White is there. 2 outs. There's a play that I look at my score sheet as Say heads back to first. That double play in the 3rd inning, started by Brian Doyle. Big play.
You bet. That'll get him a couple votes for MVP in this World Series. Again, it's not over with. The Dodgers have had 5 3-run innings in the first 5 games of this World Series. That's their biggest inning, and they're going to have to get at least another one of these to get back in, and then maybe another big inning to get out in front.
Well hit to right field, near the line. It is a foul ball. They were within inches of 2 runs. Rick Monday. That was a close one, and you can see Monday as he walks back, he thought he had one. Off the handle, popped up, he jammed him. Bucky Dent calling for it. Bucky Dent makes the play. So the 7th inning ends. The Dodgers do not score. At the end of 7 complete innings to score. Yankees 7, the Dodgers 2. The Dodgers have a new pitcher. Doug Rao has come on in relief, and he has been kind of in the center of a controversy. Why he wasn't used?
Well, one of the Dodgers scouts recommended in his scouting report that Rao should be one of the pitchers in Yankee Stadium against the Yankees because of that ballpark and their left-handed power. And, of course, Mickey Rivers, too. So Rao comes in now, 5 runs down, and let's hear what Lasorda had to say about why he hasn't pitched him earlier.
Well, first of all, Tony, we haven't been able to get in a position where we could use Doug Rao. You see, we started Tommy John thinking that you have to have one pitcher that would be able to pitch in three ball games. In other words, he'd have to go the 1st, the 4th, and the 7th. And Doug Rao was going to be used exclusively as a long relief man. We haven't had that opportunity to use him. And in the event that Don Sutton doesn't do well tonight, we've got Doug Rao ready, and we had him ready in case Sutton wasn't able to pitch. So this is the thing that we've run with Doug Rao. He's done a tremendous job for us this year. He won 16 ball games, but he and Roden had to be used in a certain situation.
Tommy Lasorda explaining the Rao situation, how he figured in the Dodger plans. He's out there now against Jim Spencer. Fastball misses, ball 1. Foul ball. Curveball outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. 10 hits in this game. The last game in Yankee Stadium. 28 hits in 2 days. Off the handle. Ron Say should have no problem. 1 out.
No doubt that Doug Rao was disappointed. He said he was, but he said, I'm a veteran pitcher. I cannot second guess my manager, Tommy Lasorda. There's Bob Lemon, the Yankee manager, and Yogi Berra.
This is Brian Doyle. He doubled and scored. Drove in 1 run. That was in the 2nd inning. He singled in the 4th. He singled and scored in the 6th. 7 for 15. This is for a ball player who was supposed to be a blowout patch. Just help out a little bit. Give us a little defense. When Willie Randolph got hurt, he and Stanley have done some job. This one's pulled into the stands. And the pressure, I think it's an overlooked thing with this youngster. He didn't play that much this year. In fact, the double he hit to left field was his first extra base hit as a Yankee.
Joe, I think what you're saying is so true. And there you see 5 hits in a row. The record is 6 by Thurman Munson of the Yankees in 1976. And Leon, was that Goose Gosling of Washington, the 24 World Series?
He's had some series. They're proud of him in Cave City, Kentucky. Curveball. Doug Rao has it. And Brian Doyle is retired, and the fans react.
Well, he was going for hit number 6 to tie Munson and Gosling's record, but Rao makes an easy play. Little chopper, had plenty of time to make that jump and tie it. Brian Doyle came very close in his first World Series.
Here is Bucky Dent. Bucky drove in 2 runs with a single in the 2nd. He singled to center. And he drove in a run with a single in the 6th. Ball 1. 10 for 23. What a finish this guy's had. Out of play. Go back to that Red Sox game when he just looped one into the screen for that big home run.
You know, Joe, you talk about taking advantage. That's a obvious fact with these Yankees. They are really something. They're the most opportunistic team that I have ever seen. And I think one reason because of that is they have so much experience in the lineup. White, Munson, Jackson, Piniella, Nettles. They have a lot of years out there. And I think that rubs off on the young guys, the kids that haven't played that much, the Doyles and the Dent. I think that's a big plus for the entire team, having all that experience in the middle of your lineup.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Inside 2-2. My first World Series was 1946, and I remember how much help guys like Howard Paulette, Terry Moore, Whitey Kurowski, you felt like, well, if I just showed up, I'm going to be all right. You need that experience. Dent up the middle, Russell. Quick throw, in time. So it's 1-2-3. Doug Rouse sets the Yankees down. We go into the bottom of the 8th inning. It's Yankees 7, Dodgers 2. And 2 up for the Dodgers in the 8th inning. It'll be Joe Ferguson, Vic Davalillo, the DH, and Davey Lopes, a hot hitter. Joe Ferguson leads it off. Bob Lemon adds Paul Blair to the outfield, replacing Mickey Rivers for defense. So Blair is in center field, and Ferguson, who is 1 for 2, leads it off. Down the left field line, it is curving foul. Dodger fans trying to get something going here. Dodgers down to 6 outs. 55,985 here tonight. Inside, ball 1.
Catfish has pitched a super game here tonight. Only 5 hits and 2 runs. The Yankees, though, got their big guy going in the bullpen just in case. Goose Gossett has gone down to warm up.
2 balls, 1 strike. Catfish has struck out 3, walked 1. Allowed 5 hits. Center field, Paul Blair, way back, way back. He cannot get it. It bounces into the stands. It's another double for Ferguson. Here comes Bob Lemon as Paul Blair looks to find where he is, watches it hit the wall, and carom off him over the fence for a double. Bob Lemon has come out to talk to his pitcher, Catfish. May make a move. He's got Gossage out there. Munson will be a big factor in this decision, Tom.
Well, I think Bob will listen to both of them. He's already made his decision. Goose Gossage is coming in. I think the one thing that a pitcher should do when his manager does come to the mound, and something that I've always tried to do in the games that I've pitched, is know who makes the decision out there. Manager comes to the mound, how do you feel? He asks the catcher, what's he got? Give the manager an honest decision, and then let your manager make the decision. You're in or you're out. You tell him, you got to give him an honest answer, how you feel, and then let your manager make the decision.
Tom, in the All-Star game, Gossage had his problems. He seemed to be overthrowing that ball, really wanting to put extra on it. So we'll wait and see here as Vic Davalillo comes up. You saw him throw in the All-Star game.
I was there, and that's one of his problems. He can try and throw the ball too hard, and he's got such a good fastball, but there are times in a game when, let's say he's throwing 95 miles an hour, he'll try and throw it 98 miles an hour, and then his control will go out the window.
Davalillo, strike 1. Nobody out. On at second base is Ferguson. Gossage, this is his 3rd game. He's pitched 4 innings. He hasn't allowed a run, hasn't allowed a hit, walked 1. And he has struck out 2. Ferguson, 7-2, bottom of the 8th. Yankees lead. Ball 1.
One thing about this situation, the Dodger hitters certainly are not going to have to guess what pitch is coming. I mean, they're going to get dead red heat. Gossage throw the ball hard, harder, and hardest. And he'll go just as hard as he can for a couple innings.
Bouncing ball up the middle. Going to be a tough play. Doyle tries to make it. Can't get him.
Well, there's a spark of a little rally here in Dodger Stadium. Another fastball right down the middle. Davalillo pounds it into the ground. This hard Dodger turf. Brian Doyle almost made a super play.
Most difficult to try to throw to a base you're running away from. You can't get too much on it, but he was very accurate. Here is Davy Lopes. Ball one. Crowd really reacting. They really come to life. Strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nobody out. Ferguson at third. Davalillo is at first. Yankees lead 7-2, bottom of the 8th. Gossage in relief. Out of play, foul ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count on Davy Lopes, who's been the hottest hitter. Struck him out. Davy Lopes is out on strikes, so Gossage gets his 3rd strikeout of the series. His first out here in the 8th.
A big out for the Yankees, that's for sure. Looked like a fastball that might have sunk, or maybe even a slider. Lopes, a very good fastball hitter. Ball looked like it was in the strike zone. That's a big out for the Yankees.
Russell takes it low for ball 1. Bill Russell single in the first inning as Lasorda looks on. Russell walked in the 3rd. He flied to left. Russell, a hot shot. Nettles to Doyle. 1 over to first. Double play. Goose Gossage comes in to get a strikeout and a double play, and the fire that was started by the Dodgers in the 8th goes out. So at the end of 8 complete innings, the score, Yankees 7, Los Angeles Dodgers 2.
Here's a look at that inning double play. The Dodgers had a rally going, but Mr. Nice Guy, Greg Nettles, the second up infield of the New York Yankees, over to second and over to first, and Billy Russell grounds into the double play. There's the takeout at second base. Brian Doyle right over and under, and look at Gossage. Look at Goose Gossage come off the mound. Looked like he went up for a big rebound, didn't he? He is a happy man.
Goose jumps straight up. That's not a rare thing for Nettles. Greg holds the Major League record for third baseman with 54 double plays. That was in 1971. Game being held up now as we have some fireworks. Here is Paul Blair. First time at bat in this game. He swings and misses at the first pitch. He had a good cut. Doug Rao.
I can't believe this. They're playing this game and there's a smoke bomb in left field. And they're not doing anything about it.
That is really throwing out some smoke. 2 strikes. Umpires keep looking out there. Smoke is about going out, so they say it's all right. Blair on 3 pitches, and Rao gets him. Rao retired to 3 men in a row. So there's 1 out, brings up Roy White. Now, due to the length of tonight's game, we would like to remind you that immediately following its conclusion, except on the West Coast and most mountain zone stations, you'll be able to enjoy your local news coverage. And don't forget to stay tuned right after that for the Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. Now, for those of you on the West Coast and most mountain zone stations, you'll be seeing your local news and the Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson at your regular time. 1 strike on Roy White. 1 for 3 tonight. That was a single in the first inning. Strike 2. Doug Rao. Don Sutton started, Bob Welch, and now Rao. Catfish Hunter for the Yankees, replaced by Goose Gossage. Outside. 7-2 is the score. We're in the 9th inning. Yankees are out in front, 1 out and nobody on. Dodger bench says it all. A grim Dodger bench. Roy White can't grab it. So there are 2 outs. Strikeout number 2. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network. Joe Garagiola along with Tony Kubek, Kurt Gowdy, and Tom Seaver at Dodger Stadium. 6th game of the World Series. 2 outs, nobody on. Thurman Munson the batter. The score, Yankees 7, Dodgers 2. Munson dribbles one down the third base line. Going to be a tough play. He'll not get him. Munson has an infield hit. Munson is on with a base hit, an infield hit. And that brings up Reggie Jackson.
Here you see the ball going down the third baseline. Ronnie Say comes in one-handed, but really has no chance. Those swinging bunts are very difficult plays to make. Say was playing back, and Really has no chance. See how far back he is there at third base, and he's got to come all the way in. It's almost a perfect strike bunt. From where he's playing, there's no way to get Munson, who runs very well for a catcher.
Jackson, who had a tremendous home run his last time up. He tries for another one.
I must say it again. It just, they really take advantage of the situation. They know how to go for the juggler. They know how to go for the kill.
I tell you, it's an amazing comeback that they made. They were counted out. And you could hear the nails hit that coffin as they were being nailed into it. Refused to give up, came back, and here they are, just 3 outs away from defending the World Championship. And it'll be interesting what happens in that Yankee clubhouse if they do hold on and win, and we'll be there with our cameras. Down goes Jackson. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Did it hit him? Played umpire Joe Brinkman says, wait a minute, we got a discussion now.
Reggie saying the ball hit it, and Joe Brinkman saying no, the ball hit the bat.
We'll see.
We don't know here.
I think he may have called it a strike. Jackson is stunned. It was called a strike, and it is bad foul tip. Or was it? What was it? No, he's going to hit it. It's just a ball. Reggie Jackson. You judge this play now. Here is the replay.
If it did hit him very hard. It might hit him on the bottom of the hand. That's a very difficult call for the umpire to make. Reggie right down on the knob of that bat, of course.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
I can't imagine Reggie Jackson wanting to give up a time at bat in the World Series, can you? He likes to go up and swing that lumber.
2 outs. Munson's on at first. Foul back. I tell you, he gets reaction. He gets reaction, Jackson.
He got booed for taking batting practice today.
He put on some show. Doug Rao, 2 strikeouts here in the 9th inning. Munson the base runner at first. Time call. Jackson trying to get set. We'll have Reggie Smith, Steve Garvey, and Ron Say. Jackson is out on strikes. So Doug Rao strikes out the side and ends the 9th inning. And his season comes down to the bottom of the 9th. The score, Yankees 7, Dodgers 2. And it'll be Reggie Smith up for the Los Angeles Dodgers to lead it on.
Now, let me ask you this. So much has been said about what Reggie Jackson wants to do next year. Can you tell us what Reggie Jackson wants to do next year? And what will Reggie Jackson do next year?
I'd like to win another World Series.
For whom?
The Yankees.
All right, Reggie. Good talking to you.
Reggie Smith, Steve Garvey, and Ron Say. Tom, it's hard to imagine, but when you come down to this, it all began back in March, and now you're down to your final 3 outs. You need a rally. A whole season.
It's a crazy long game, Joe. You start way back when it's still snow up in the North Country, and you play about 30 games in spring training, and then you play 162 games during the season. Then you've got the playoffs, 4 more games, and then here it is, 6 more games. You add up to about 200 baseball games for the year. Comes out, you need 3 outs, and you can be the world champions. You got Goose Gossage on the mound, your free agent that they picked up from the Pittsburgh Pirates, and your foreign territory in Dodger Stadium. It makes all the work and all the travel and all the hotels and all the airplanes and all the getting into towns at 2 and 3 in the morning and working 7 days a week. It makes it much more than worthwhile, that's for sure. Players out there obviously are not playing for money. They're playing for pride. Professional pride is one of the beautiful things in this country.
Number 27.
So it's Reggie Smith. Three outs. Gary Thomason is going into play left field. These fans first pitch, left field. Thomason going back. He has room. There is one out. There is Piniella. He has been replaced by Jay Johnstone in right field. Catfish Hunter, who wants to see the finish. That Yankee bench says it all. There is Reggie Jackson. Steve Garvey, who's had a tough series. Yankees standing 2 outs away from defending their championship. Goose Gossage, who came on to get a strikeout and a double play. Right field, down the line, it is curving foul. Now you see Jay Johnstone, not that guy in the yellow pants. That guy, you probably can go visit him Sunday, 2-4.
There's a very somber Dodger bench right there. They won the first 2 games here in Dodger Stadium and went to Yankee Stadium and got cleaned out.
Good fastball by Bruce Gossage, the Goose. The Yankees leading by 5. Garvey fouls one back. These Yankees with this amazing comeback, if they hold on, will climax by defending their championship. They came into World Series, lost the first 2, and no team has ever lost the first 2 and won the next 4. Teams have lost 2 and won in a 7-game series, but never in a 6-game series. It's the Dodger bench with Lasorda. It really says it all. Strike 3. Garvey is out on strike, so there are 2 outs. And now it's down to the final out. Ron Say. The Yankee bench standing, anticipating. The Dodger bench hoping against hope. Yankees, it'll be their 22nd World Championship and 2nd in a row if they can hold on. It's a strike. Yankees came from 4th place and 14 games behind in July. Here they are. 2 strikes, 1 out away. Ball 1.
And now they're 2 strikes from another world championship. Their 2nd championship in a row.
22nd for the Yankees. 1-1 pitch. Outside. Two balls, 1 strike.
The Yankee bench in anticipation of a win, and the Dodger bench very sad and very somber, and that's very understandable, of course. Goose Gossage looking for 2 more strikes. That'll wrap it up.
There's his strike.
That's 1.
Remember now, immediately following its conclusion this game, except on the West Coast and most Mountain Zone stations, you'll be able to enjoy your local news coverage. Stay tuned right after that for the Tonight Show, starring Johnny Carson. Fouled out of play. And on the West Coast, you'll see your local news and the Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson at the regular time. We're down 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Gossage against Say. The whole season may be wrapped up in this pitch. Popped up. Munson. This could be it. He's got room. He's waiting. The Yankee bench on the field. Yankees are the champions. Ron Say pops out. There's the Dodger bench.
For the world champion New York Yankees, 7 runs, 11 hits.
And the Yankees head for the clubhouse. The champions.
Well, that's a sign of jubilation, and the Yankees are very, very happy. Dodger fans are streaming on the field, looking for souvenirs, trying to steal a player's hat. Reggie Jackson going through the crowd. Many times in that situation, you wonder about your personal safety. But it's a happy feeling when you get to the clubhouse. It's one of the rare feelings in sports. I've been very lucky myself to be on a world championship team, and there's a sad Dodger clubhouse. I've been in that situation too. It's been a long week for Tommy Lasorda. There's not a man in baseball that loves his organization more than Tom Lasorda, and he does love the Los Angeles Dodgers. And the world champions for the second year in a row, the New York Yankees.
So our cameras are there, and the Yankees. There you see Jim Beattie. And here goes the pouring of the champagne, which of course has become traditional. 7 runs, 11 hits, and no errors for the Yankees. And it's 2 runs, 7 hits, and 1 error for the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Yankees are the 1978 world champions.
And before the last pitch, a word for a self-effacing, unassuming, great pitcher by the name of Ron Guidry in the Yankee scheme of things.
2-2 pitch, popped up behind the plate, coming back Munson. Throws the mask away, he's there. It's all over. It's all over. The Yankees charge on the field. They mob Goose Gossage. The Yankees have won their 2nd straight world championship. Final score here tonight at Dodger Stadium. The Yankees 7 and the Los Angeles Dodgers 2.
But Hunter, like many successful control pitchers, was notorious for giving up homers early and then playing hard to get. Once he settled into his groove, the North Carolina farmer could still be stingy when it counted. But the Yankees had 2 big surprises. Brian Doyle, an unknown rookie when the World Series began, and Bucky Dent, who had suffered through an injury-prone, disappointing regular season. Although batting 8th and 9th in the order, Doyle and Dent produced 17 base hits. And defensively, they flat outplayed the Dodgers up the middle, no question. Who in their wildest Walter Mitty fantasies would have envisioned this? Beattie, even Hunter, unlikely heroes. But Doyle and Dent, they had to besiege Tommy Lasorda, muttering to himself.
Who is that? Ty Trainer or Paul Wainer? Them 2 guys must have 7 hits between them. Huh? Who is that?
You could hardly blame Tom Lasorda, Mr. Optimism, for his disappointment. It had to be tough to see it all slip away for yet another year, and this time in front of his hometown fans. It was most disheartening for Lasorda and Dodger ace Don Sutton. A portrait of a losing team's frustration, a winning team's elation. Even laconic Bob Lemon was on cloud 9. His Yankees had become the first team to win 4 straight after losing the first 2.
Borrow your mirror, I'll come back and pitch.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, which star glitters brightest of them all? Is it Reggie Jackson who got sweet revenge against Bob Welch by pulverizing a fastball to close out the Yankees' 7-2 win? Granted, Mr. October lived up to his name, but in this 75th anniversary of the World Series, there were other stars who glittered brightly as well. Captain Davy Lopes bedeviled the Yankees with his newfound power stroke. Other Dodgers also sparkled, most notably Ron Cey, whose defensive gems and timely swings gave the Dodgers an early edge. But once again, the Yankee stars eclipsed the Dodger victory hopes. Sparked by the play of Greg Nettles at third, the 78 Yankee mirror caught the light of other heroes. Resilient Goose Gossage pitched shutout ball while stifling the Dodgers 3 separate times. Catfish Hunter pitched like the living embodiment of Yankee resurgence. Thurman Munson used his bat and his typical true grit in the field to say, "I'm still here." While a late bloomer rookie pitcher Jim Beattie announced with his right arm, "Hey, I've arrived." World Series pressure lifted Brian Doyle to a performance he understandably called the greatest experience of my life. Days earlier, when Bunky Dent inched his 3-run homer over Fenway's left field wall to win the crucial playoff game against the Red Sox, it was like an omen for this Yankee team that had scratched its way back from oblivion. A foretelling of a time when this same Bucky Dent would prophetically win the MVP award in this, the 75th anniversary of baseball's Fall Classic.
Find out next year if we get in the series. I want to know if we're going to be underdogs again. Underdogs? This year, yeah. You know, we won 3 games in New York. We were under game when the series started. We came back here and we were underdogs. I just
that's right. And it was
kind of like the favorite one.
Thurman came to the ballpark when the series started one day and he said, you know, I wouldn't mind going home and letting the Dodgers, you know, not letting the Dodgers win, but it just was embarrassing to us that we were the world champions and we're underdogs. You know, oh, why do we have to be underdogs? We're good too, you know.